When you think of Japan, what comes to mind? Sushi, ramen, vending machines, anime, kimono. I bet cherry blossom is probably on the list. When cherry blossom season arrives, the entire country is transformed into a fairyland tinted pale pink. According to the surveys, more than 60% of Japanese take cherry blossom as their most favorite flower. Cherry blossom is not only the all-time favorite, but also the most favorite among all age groups. Therefore, the Japanese say, flower is synonymous with cherry blossom. Cherry blossom makes Japan one of the most popular places to visit during springtime, attracts millions of people from all over the country and the world, which generates over $5 billion in economic activities. For the first time in 4 years, overseas visitors are able to travel to Japan freely and enjoying the cherry blossom in person. Cherry blossom viewing, known as Hanami in Japanese, is a popular spring tradition in Japan. People hold outdoor parties and enjoy eating and drinking under the blooming trees. Cherry blossom is more than flower viewing in Japan. It has been deeply involved in people's lives. 100 yen coins, the emblem of Japanese national rugby team, and the torch used for Tokyo Olympic Games, to name a few. You could buy all kinds of Sakura-themed goods during the season. It has huge commercial appeal not only locally but globally. When you hear the word Hanami, you probably have cherry blossom on your mind. Actually, the word Hanami literally means flower watching or flower viewing. Hana means flower in general. Mi means to look or to view. Although today Hanami is practically synonymous with cherry blossom, the first Hanami had nothing to do with cherry blossom at all. Furthermore, the most popular cherry blossom we enjoy today didn't exist till late 19th century. In this episode, let's travel back in time and see how the cherry blossom became the most beloved flower in Japan and how nature is shaped by humans' preferences and actions. The term Hanami originally referred not to cherry blossom, but to ume blossom. Ume is known as Japanese plum, though native to China. The idea of Hanami was brought to Japan in the Nara period from the Tang Dynasty of China. When ume trees were introduced to Japan, the Chinese custom of viewing the plum blossom also became popular among the aristocrats in Japan. Plum trees played a big role in Nara's court life. They were the center of landscaping in aristocratic gardens as well as a popular theme in Japanese waka poetry. Sugawara no Michizane, known as the god of learning, lived in Kyoto during the 9th century, had a deep appreciation for ume blossom. When he was exiled to Kyushu, he was forced to leave behind a beloved pink ume tree and even dedicated a farewell poem to it. According to the legend, this plum tree missed him so much that it flew to Kyushu to be reunited with him. You could still find this plum tree in Dazaifu. The first recorded ume blossom viewing party could be found in Manyoshu, collection of 10,000 leaves, Japan's oldest surviving collection of Japanese poetry. The party was held in the year 730 by court noble and poet Otomo Tabito. This is where Reiwa comes in. Reiwa is the name of the current Imperial period. which was taken from a preface to 32 poems composed at the party. It is worthy of note that the preface was written in Chinese characters, and all 32 poems following this preface were written in manyogana, which is an ancient writing system in Japan that uses Chinese characters to represent the Japanese pronunciation. Ume blossom was preferred over cherry blossom during Nara period, could also be observed in Manyoshu. Ume blossom mentioned in 110 poems, while cherry blossom only mentioned in 43 poems. One interesting fact is that the most written about plant in Manyoshu was hagi, Japanese bush clover, appeared in more than 140 poems. People back then admired blooming hagi, picked the flowers and stuck them in their hair. The custom of ume blossom viewing continues even today, but a far more passionate tradition for cherry blossom started to grow in the following Heian period. The flower used for hanami changed gradually from ume to cherry. Cherry trees are usually categorized into three main groups: sweet cherries, sour cherries, and cherry blossom, also known as flowering cherry trees or sakura. Sweet cherries and sour cherries are planted mainly for the fruits, while cherry blossom for the flowers. There are many different varieties of cherry blossom or sakura in Japan. In plant taxonomy, sakura belongs to the rose family, just like peach, apricot, and plum, to name a few. Sakura can be further divided into two categories: the wild species that have grown in the wild since ancient times, and cultivars or cultivated varieties that have been cultivated by people. There are approximately 100 wild species of sakura distributed across Asia, North America, Europe, and other parts of Northern Hemisphere. There are 10 wild species in Japan, including Japanese mountain cherry. There are over 300 types of wild and domesticated varieties. Before late 19th century, most sakura people admired were wild species, as the cultivated varieties not available yet. The change in taste was reflected in the Kokin Wakashu poetry collection, dating from around 905, which has 18 poems about plum blossoms and 70 about cherry blossoms. One more evidence of the rising status of cherry blossom is that there are two trees in front of the main hall of the Imperial Palace in Kyoto. One is a citrus tree, another used to be a plum tree. However, it was replaced with a cherry tree in year 834. The two trees remain at the same place ever since. These two trees can be found in the Hina door set. They are always put in the same order, as the Japanese say, right mandarin orange tree, left cherry tree. According to the Nihon Koki, the earliest cherry blossom viewing party can be traced back to a banquet in year 812, hosted by Emperor Saga, the 52nd Emperor of Japan, in the garden of the Imperial Palace in Kyoto. The event is called Kaen no Sechi. According to the traditional tale, during his visit to Jishu Shrine 1 year earlier, Emperor Saga was so captivated by the beauty of a particular cherry tree that he had his ox carriage turned around 3 times to view the flowers. The tree is special, which has branches with both single and double blossoms. Emperor Saga loved cherry blossom, and through his influence, cherry blossom became the new favorite among the aristocrats. and the cherry trees were transplanted from mountains to area where they lived and began to enjoy cherry blossom viewing, compose poems, and hold parties under the blooming trees. From 831, cherry blossom viewing party became an annual spring event hosted by the emperor at the Imperial Palace, and the event was also described in Chapter 8 of the Tale of Genji, the Festival of the Cherry Blossoms. As a side note, the Tale of Genji is a fictional account of life at the imperial court of Kyoto during its heyday in the 10th century. Many consider it to be the world's first novel, predating most European texts by several hundred years. Let's leave the Japanese aristocrats for a second and take a look at the farmers. For Japanese farmers, cherry blossoms served more practical purpose. In ancient Japan, farmers used the blooming of the cherry trees to help them know it was time to plant their rice crops. Even today, there are cherry trees called seed-sowing cherry blossom. The connection between cherry blossom and farming could also be found in the origin of the word Sakura. Sa refers to the deity of the rice paddy, and Kura means the place where the deity stays. It's said that the deity returns to the mountains for the winter and comes back to the village and stays in the cherry tree, causing the buds to grow and eventually bloom. So, in other words, cherry blossom is where the deity stays. Therefore, people made offerings to the blooming cherry trees and prayed for a good harvest. After the ritual was over, everyone shared the offerings and enjoyed eating and drinking under the tree. It's also considered to be one of the origin of Hanami. However, limited historical records available to concur with such claim. Up till the Heian period, cherry blossom viewing had largely only been enjoyed among the aristocrats. With the rise of shogunate and military control of the government in Japan, the samurai had come to join Hanami as well. Toyotomi Hideyoshi is known as a cherry blossom lover. Hideyoshi, the famous feudal lord, unified the country and brought an end to Japan's warring states period. His Hanami parties were grand, attended by a great number of his companions, and featuring banquets, tea ceremonies, and fancy dresses. According to records, he had 1,000 trees planted in Mount Yoshino in Nara Prefecture, where he had a grand 5-day banquet to which he invited 5,000 of the most distinguished military commanders at the time. He also had 700 cherry blossom trees planted at Daigo Temple in Kyoto and held an event attended by more than 1,000 guests. Entering the 14th century, cherries are fully established as garden plants in aristocratic circles in the capital. However, the golden age of cherry blossom had not arrived yet till the Edo period.